4 out of 5 Gen Z users admit they've quietly disappeared from at least one app this year. Pew Research. There's a silence online that doesn't sound like failure. It sounds like someone trying to survive. One day, their stories just stop. The aesthetic routines, the late-night vents, the little wins in lowercase captions. Gone, no announcement, no goodbye, just the gentle act of logging out, like slipping into the ocean and not making a splash. I noticed it first with someone I used to follow religiously. She used to post every night, mirror selfies, half-lit poetry quotes, Spotify song links with captions like, "This one hits too hard." Then one week, she vanished, no new posts, no taking a break highlight bubble, just quiet. And strangely, I felt it. Like walking past someone's house and seeing the lights off for the first time. Not alarming, just unfamiliar, like a door closed not in anger but self-preservation. I didn't realize I was doing the same thing. It wasn't dramatic, just small things at first. Turning off notifications, unfollowing accounts that made me feel behind, leaving messages on read because I didn't know how to be interesting anymore. Deleting a post before anyone could like it because I didn't want to perform healing that hadn't happened yet. Somewhere between "I'll post later" and "maybe next week," my presence began to shrink. Someone messaged me, "Hey, haven't seen you online, everything okay?" I stared at the message, typed something, deleted it, typed again, deleted again. What was I supposed to say? That I was tired of turning pain into content? That I was exhausted from making growth look pretty? Instead, I left it unread. And for the first time in weeks, the quiet felt like something I chose. We think healing looks like candles, journals, sunlight through linen curtains, but sometimes it looks like missed calls, unread DMs, half-written drafts, and a deep exhale no one gets to hear. No progress tracker, no applause, just breath, stillness, and one softly whispered truth. I'm still growing, just quieter now. They think I logged off, but I was still online, just watching, lurking, performing in silence, pretending that nothing hurt, because silence was safer than explaining. I logged out. That's what I told everyone in. But truth is, I was still there, lurking, performing in silence like a mime with Wi-Fi. Because what's healing if no one claps for it? What's growth without a sunrise filter and a 2-sentence caption about learning to let go? I used to journal every morning. Well, I opened the Notes app, typed "healing is nonlinear" 12 times, then deleted it because I wasn't ready to hear myself yet. Self-care was easier when it looked like shopping carts, bubble baths, skincare hauls labeled emotional reset. I was resetting so often, I think I factory reset myself. It became a show. Watch me cut off toxic people. Watch me unfollow bad energy. Watch me post quotes about boundaries I still don't know how to hold. Like, comment, subscribe for more. I was performing PC, but inside, I was still drafting apologies for feelings I never shared. Still measuring progress by how little I cried in public. Still wondering if silence meant strength, or just no one left to vent to. At one point, I wrote a caption that said, "Healing quietly, healing performatively." Then I posted it to 4 different platforms, because irony is an aesthetic now. I laughed, hard, alone, because if I don't laugh at my pain, someone else will. And I hate being upstaged. I told myself I was doing better, but better just meant I got better at hiding the spiral, at disguising breakdowns as scheduling issues, at posting about growth and skipping the part where I begged the algorithm to distract me from myself. There was this one night. I woke up at 3 a.m., opened Instagram, scrolled for 41 minutes without blinking, liked a breakup quote from a wellness account that posts once a week. Then closed the app, reopened it, closed it again, because nothing hit hard enough to distract me from, well, me. "You good?" Someone texted. I replied, "Just been offline, needed space." Which really meant I'm tired of pretending to bloom in front of strangers. I'm tired of narrating pain like I'm pitching it to a brand deal. I'm tired. But I didn't say that. Because even in silency, I was still editing, still trimming the mess, still trying to look like someone worth rooting for. I left the app, but not the stage. I just stopped clapping for myself out loud. The caption stopped, but the feelings didn't. And sometimes, in the middle of deleting another drafted apology, I wondered who I was performing for, when the person I missed never even asked how I was healing. Did you sleep? Barely. That was the last thing we said to each other. No conflict, no closure. Just two people slowly reducing contact until silence became our shared language. We were both healing, apparently, privately, which in practice looked like muted stories and unclicked texts. Neither of us wanted to be the one who needed more. So we healed, apart, like two plants kept in separate rooms, both surviving, neither growing jig. There was a text I wrote to her. I'm okay, just figuring things out. Hope you are too. I rewrote it 11 times, then left it in drafts. The kind of message that doesn't say anything but means everything. She still watches my stories though. At least she used to. Before I stopped posting them. Now I don't know if she checks for me or just forgot. I went through our photos last week. The ones we never posted, the blurry ones. The ones where we looked away from the camera, like we knew the moment wouldn't last and didn't want to look directly at it. I didn't delete them. I told myself it was because I didn't want to erase the past. But maybe I just wanted proof that something once felt real, even if it was quiet. We never called it love. We never even said we missed each other. But I remember the way she'd sit next to me in a silence that didn't demand fixing. The night she unfollowed me was the same night I started journaling again. Not out of spite, out of instinct. Because the urge to explain myself never fully goes away, even if no one is asking. There was a photo I kept, her laughing, off guard, hair messy, eyes soft, no filter, no caption, no performance. I scrolled past it again yesterday, didn't cry, didn't smile, just paused. Because healing sometimes feels like revisiting the same photo and feeling less each time. Not better, not worse, just less. I think I missed the version of me who still wanted to be seen by her, and maybe that's what this kind of healing is, not letting go of people, but letting go of needing to be understood by them. Still journaling? Someone asked me recently. I nodded, didn't say it's mostly blank pages, didn't say I spend more time staring than writing. Some growth doesn't happen in words. Some stories aren't shared. Not because they don't matter, but because they're still becoming. I didn't send that text, but I never deleted it either. It just sits there, quietly waiting, like some part of me still believes silence can be enough. We were both quiet, and people say that's mature. But silence is not always peace. Sometimes it's just fear of saying too much, of wanting too loudly, of not being forgiven for still bleeding. They said I was glowing lately. That must mean I'm healed, right? Because I post less, because I laugh more, because I haven't cried in a way that makes others uncomfortable. But here's the thing. I stopped talking because no one really listened. They just waited for their turn to say, "You'll get through it." Let me say it loud, because I was quiet for too long. Healing isn't always inspirational. Sometimes, it's just not dying inside long enough to show up. Sometimes it's answering "I'm good" with a smile so clean no one asks twicey. You want a timeline, an aesthetic, a breakthrough post? No, you get the truth, unfiltered, unpackaged. I left the group chat because every time I tried to speak, someone sent a meme. Laughter is easier to digest than discomfort. So I became digestible, softer, simpler. I was healing in a way no one wanted to see. Not by glowing, by grieving alone. One friend asked me, "Why didn't you say anything?" I did, just not in a way that fit your feed. I spoke through withdrawals, through pauses in the conversation, through the way I showed up late and left early, through the way I stopped asking, "Do you have a minute?" and just started leaving. But you didn't want pain, you wanted poetry. You wanted "I'm healing" to sound like closure, not like a hallway I'm still lost in. So here it is. The sentence no one knows how to respond to. I'm not okay. I'm just quiet about it now. I used to try and make it soft, say things like, "It's been a tough time, but I'm growing." Translation: I'm falling apart, but I don't want to lose you too. But I'm done whispering my wounds. I don't want to be palatable, I want to be real. You think I disappeared? No, I retreated. Because every time I tried to talk about what hurt, you sent me a quote. So I stopped speaking. And they called that growth. You know what healing really is? It's not a soft glow. It's deleting photos no one else knew mattered. It's leaving messages unanswered, not out of pride, but because you can't take one more reminder of who you had to be for people who never showed up. It's saying, "This is what I need," and hearing nothing back. It's looking at your reflection under bathroom lighting at 2 a.m. and saying, "I'm not okay." Not to cry, just to finally hear yourself. I don't owe anyone a performance. Not anymore. Not even myself. I used to think I had to explain my pain to be valid. Now, I just sit in it, quietly, like the sound of ice melting in a glass, unnoticed but still changing. This morning, the light came in soft. It landed on my floor like it had nowhere else to be. I sat with it, didn't rush, didn't scroll, didn't even try to turn the moment into something worth writing about. It just was. There's an unfinished journal beside my bed. Most pages are blank. A few have lines that look like they were trying too hard to sound wise. But there's one page, the only one I didn't edit. It just says, "I'm still growing, just quieter now." I read that line often, not because I forget it, but because I need to remember it softly. There's no soundtrack to this version of healing. No highlight reel, no caption, just me, and the hum of the ceiling fan, the clink of a glass I haven't put away, the soft exhale I didn't know I'd been holding. I used to check my reflection to see if I looked healed yet. Now I don't check. Not because I feel perfect, but because I've stopped trying to measure what can't be seen. Someone messaged me last week, "You've been quiet lately. Everything good?" I smiled, because I finally understood something. Silence isn't the absence of life. It's the space where life settles in. I walk more now, not to get anywhere, but to remember what it feels like to move at my own pace. Sometimes I stop, stand still in the middle of the sidewalk, feel the breeze pass through me like a thought too gentle to hold on to. There's a photo on my wall, blurry, dimly lit. You can barely make out the faces. But I kept it, not because of who's in it, but because of the way the light caught the window in the background, like a secret was hiding in plain sight. I stare at it sometimes just to remember that not everything has to be clear to be real. Healing, for me, isn't loud. It doesn't come with checklists or breakthroughs. It comes like the tide, soft, persistent, returning. Sometimes I think I'm not changing, but then I notice the way I sit longer in discomfort without needing to escape. The way I don't explain my silence anymore. The way I let things go without needing to name them first. I didn't unfollow everyone, just the parts of myself that needed validation to exist. Now it's just me, and the quiet, and this breath, and the next one. Healing never really ends, it just quiets down until all that's left is the sound of yourself, learning to stay. Not every silence is absence. Sometimes it's survival. Maybe silence isn't loneliness, maybe it's space I finally claimed for myself. So, I stopped explaining where I've been, because now I just let myself be there. And healing didn't look like becoming someone new. It looked like remembering who I was before I started performing. Enough. I'm not loud about it, but I'm still here, and some days, that's enough. Maybe what you call silence is just the sound of becoming. Thank you for staying, even when no one asked you to. If this story echoed anything inside you, stay. You don't need to post your healing for it to be real. You're not disappearing, you're just growing where the light can't see yet. Subscribe, share, and whisper this story forward. Not for the algorithm, but for someone healing in secret.